Hi, my name's Lauren.
Hey, my name's Bree, and our piece is called No Performance Today.
What we're watching is the New South Wales Police Band come together in a park, and we have choreographed and directed them to kind of do everything they're not supposed to do and encourage them to kind of branch away from, I guess, the structure of what they're used to doing.
We like to try to personalise the work, especially with the marching band, where they're normally known as the unit. There's a militarism and sort of group quality about it, and we wanted the individuals to express themselves. So for the opening section of the performance, they're playing this cellular material. Then they come together at the signal from the drum major, and they form together, and the conductor leads them through those 8 cells. Then they separate again and they play their own choice of material in these little micro groups, little mini chamber groups. So a little bit of Dixie jazz and some cool jazz from the 40s, and that was all music that the band chose themselves. And then once again they come together and play a finale.
I think Bree and I have worked collaboratively now for about 5 years. We've always been intrigued by a marching band. Bree's always wanted to write for a marching band. I've always been slightly obsessed with marching bands, and only recently I think it's come from growing up watching Olympic opening ceremonies, and one of my first memories was getting up really early in the morning and watching the LA opening ceremony, and there was like the most amazing group of marching bands. So I think maybe subconsciously that's where it came from. But John, the conductor, who worked really closely with Bree, was brilliant, and he just was so great to collaborate with because he could hear our vision and the sound, and he was really encouraging of the band to just really relax.
Yeah, it was amazing to work with full-time musicians, like a full-time band. There's not very many of them around. And for this, we're trying to create a performance for the band, and then I sort of forget about the audience. One of the things that was nice and surprising is just to see the interaction of the public, and so just to see like people walking around Circular Quay, just really not understanding, seeing a sort of police officer with a really intense kind of helmet and beautiful costume and an instrument, and then you immediately think, oh, marching band. Like, I'm sure that reaction takes about half a second or less in most people. It's sort of like instant. But then that person is like just facing the water, playing something that's seemingly unrelated to anything else. And then you might see someone else playing saxophone, like serenading to tourists or something. And so I think that sort of out of context placement of those things is really beautiful to see.
I think a lot of people were like confused that they weren't marching and they were kind of just standing casually and they were kind of almost flirting with the audience. I think we broke down a barrier actually because the audience really stood so close to them. So that was really nice to see, but you can't predict what the audience is going to do, and we wanted that to happen. We didn't want to give them a barrier.